well. But we're going to start with Jim Harbaugh and what, as we go forward, like a lot of people were critical of me, after they finally beat Ohio State and they finally won a big game, in a big spot. And now, they're in the college football playoffs. But now people are looking at Jim Harbaugh as we go further. And after this is all over, and really the question is, should he run out on Michigan if he can now?
No.
And Steve, I'm saying it from this standpoint. His goal was to come and to get to the college football playoff. After 7 seasons, he finally accomplished it. He got beat up big time on the way. He was 0-5 against Ohio State. He had to take a pay cut, right, last year because it was so bad. Nobody in the NFL was interested in him at all. I don't know if his stock can get any higher. Does that sound like lunacy? And Chris Broussard is now joining us on the mic.
But remember, he's from Michigan. He was a Michigan quarterback.
No, I get all that, but I just think, Steve, it can only go down from here.
Special place to him, though.
Yeah, I got it. All right, Chris Broussard, he finally is jumping in. And as we start the show, what's happening, buddy?
I'm good. I'm jumping through hoops just to get on the air with you, man.
I understand. I'm a special guy.
I know. I'm in the Midwest. You're speaking about Michigan, the Midwest. So let's get it popping. Let's not waste any time with pleasantries.
Yeah, we're through all that stuff. I'm just looking at the Michigan. We just talked about Jim Harbaugh, and my point is, I think if he could get out and get back to the NFL and take that Raiders job or whatever it is, I would do it. I think his mission at Michigan was to get them to the college football playoffs. It took 7 years, blood, sweat, tears, people trashing him, everything. He had to take a pay cut, which was embarrassing. All the stuff that went on. He can honestly say, you brought me here to give you guys a chance to win a national championship. And he could be like the Lone Ranger at the end. Hey, Tonto, my work is done here, and head out. And people will feel good about Jim Harbaugh's experience at Michigan.
No way. No way. I mean, unless you know that Mark Davis is about to give him the John Gruden contract, 10 years, $100 million. With inflation would be what, 10 years, I don't know, $140 million? Unless you're getting that type of crazy deal, Rob, there is no reason whatsoever for him to leave the University of Michigan. None. And first of all, he hasn't accomplished his goal. I mean, I get it. You're right. He brought him back to national prominence. Now they're in the playoff. But what if they get beat in the first game? I mean, yeah, it was good, but he has a chance to win a national championship. And this year is only going to help his recruiting. We know he spent time growing up to some degree there. He went to Michigan himself. I mean, to me, Rob, Jim Harbaugh should be a University of Michigan lifer.
See, I disagree.
He should finish it off right here. Because you know this, if he goes to the NFL, now, could he become some great coach who can stay with the Raiders for the next 15 years if he wants? Maybe, I guess. But, Rob, the likelihood is he would be there for several years and then probably either get fired or move on for some other reason. Whereas at Michigan, he could stay there. He can write his own ticket. And just all the things you said, because of that, he now can write his own ticket and do whatever he wants to do at the University of Michigan.
See, here's where before you were saying, and other people, well, Michigan, their history is that they don't win national championships. Is that they've won one mythical national championship. The guy that they respect and admire and honor the most is Bo Schembechler, and he never won a national championship. So he can be revered because he got him finally to the college football playoffs. People will have a good taste in their mouth about him if he comes back next year or comes back and Ohio State pulls out the whipping stick, and then the next 3 or 4 years beat them the way they've beaten them almost every time in the last decade, other than this past year, you're back to square one. It's a no-win situation.
You're never going back to square one.
Yes, you are. Because he's
already
again.
done. He's already gotten them as far as Bo Schembechler. He might be able to top Bo Schembechler if he can get him a national championship.
And he might not.
But Rob, that's the challenge of coaching. I mean, he could go to the Raiders and fall flat on his face.
Man, I would be out of there.
Good?
I'd be out of there as soon as I can.
I mean, we know you worked 40 jobs in 35 years. So
35
that's
jobs
your nature.
in 35
we get it. All right. But I'm saying, Rob, real talk, like, I get what you're saying. Yeah. He's at the top. He could leave on top and don't risk failing, right?
Right.
However, if he goes to the Raiders, I think it's a bigger risk of failing.
Well, but he had success in the NFL. My only thing here, Chris, this is what I'll say. I remember when the Tigers in Detroit hired Alan Trammell. Fan favorite. Everybody loved Tram.
Was a good player.
Right, good player. Was on that 84 championship team, Chris. Everything, like storybook career. Played 20 years at shortstop for the Tigers. 20 years. And everybody said Sparky Anderson was his manager, and when Tram was up for that job, Sparky went on the record and said, Tram, don't take that job, please. I don't want people to look at you differently. You know what I mean? Like taking over. The Tigers weren't that good. They were a rebuild. Tram lost 100 games or more in his 3 years as manager and got fired. And people, I'm not saying they totally erased his 20 years as a player, Chris, but Tram became like, oh, get Tram out of here, like in a negative way. And I understood what Sparky was saying was you have such an impeccable reputation. Harbaugh came in with that like he's our guy, our native son. He played quarterback. He played for Bo. He's trying to get us back to a chance at a championship. If he's done that. If an NFL job comes along with big money, if I'm him, I'm taking it.
No way. No way. I mean, look, like you said, at some point, he may have a price. So if they're going to give him the John Gruden deal or something, fine. But Rob, I think he should be a Michigan lifer. It seems like that's what he wants to do, right? He could have moved on before when they gave him the lesser deal or, he had to take a pay cut. Now, you're right. He would have left as a failure. So I get why he didn't, but I also think there was an element of this is where I'm from. Like you said, he played there, all of that.
No, he's got the resume.
He could be the next Bo Schembechler. Stay there as long as he wants. And yeah, it's a challenge. It's a risk, but there's a risk in everything if you're going to do something at the highest level. So I think he's finally gotten them, at least this year, on the level of an Ohio State. And now you take it and run. You use this to go out and get the players that can have you beating Ohio State at least every now and again, at least as often as they beat you. So I think it's set up. I think he should stay. I think he'd be crazy unless the money is just utterly ridiculous. And even then, he's got millions already. So